Howdy folks, welcome back to my channel. Today we'll be doing another episode of World in Flames Collector's Edition, Days of Decision 3, combined game playthrough. This will be the September-October turn of 1942. So we've made it that far anyways. Last turn we saw quite a bit of action in the Atlantic. There was also some developments on the Eastern Front. The Germans apparently managed a breakthrough of sorts down here around Stalingrad. They're kind of behind where they were historically at this point. So I don't know what that's gonna mean, but guess we'll find out as we continue to play. There were a bunch of partisans that popped up last turn. There's one in Russia, one in Yugoslavia. One was supposed to go in China, but there was no room for it. There's too many zones of control, so there was no place to put it. And yeah, so let's get started on this turn. Okay, let's go over starting money. We'll move over here to the Indian Ocean. All right, starting money for the major powers. All pretty much negative. So we got Germany at -5, Japan at -3, Italy at -1, the Soviet Union at -5, the Commonwealth is at -8, the US is at -10, China's at 1, and Free France is at -10. So deficit spending seems to be a way of life in this game. Probably because the major powers are just concentrated on building as many military units as they can. Excuse me. It's really the only way to win the game, so build what you can while you got it. Okay, so I've already recorded the bids for the major powers, so let's go over and take a look at the track, see where things wind up. All right, here's the political initiative track. Let's see if I can, there we go. Got the political effectiveness track too. All right, so we got Germany bidding 1. We have Japan bidding 4, however Japan's going for 2 political options, and the US is bidding 2, and they also are going for 2 political options. Now to note that all the major powers are currently at war, and the one thing I want to mention is that the turn that the US declared war on Germany, I don't think I mentioned it at the time, but the Italians used their level 3 treaty counter declaration of war to declare war on the U.S. So every major power is at war now. All the democracies are at war with the fascists. The communists are at war with the fascists. So it's generally war all over. So I'm not keeping track of U.S. entry anymore. It's kind of irrelevant at this point because everybody's at war. So it's all right. So let's see how this shakes out. We got the U.S. They're bidding 4. They're bidding 2, rather. They get +4 for their current first position. That's a total of 6. And they're going for 2 options, so that'll be 3. The Germans are bidding 1. They get a +3. That's 4. And the Italians are bidding 4. They get a +3. That's 7. They're also going for 2 options. So that comes out to 3.5. So it's going to look something like this. The Germans are going to be in first, the Japanese are going to be in second, and the U.S. is going to be in third. And those the totality of all the bidding powers. Now, we got the Italians here in fourth with a +2, and the Commonwealth at fifth with a +2. However, the Commonwealth's political initiative is 7, much higher than the Italian. I believe it is 3. So the Commonwealth will be in fourth, and the Italians will be in fifth. We got the Soviets and the Free French. The Soviets are at 6, and the Free French are at 3. So again, Soviets are going to break that tie. The Free French will be 7th, and the Chinese will be last in 8th. All right, let's go see what the Germans want to do. All right, the Germans are going to use their option. I just had that out too. Okay, that's what happens when you shuffle too many things around. Okay, so the Germans are going to use their option 0D, build a factory of synth. So I think they're going to build a factory. It's going to cost them $8 and take 4 turns to build. There's no minor effects, so they just have to pay the money. And that's it. Don't think you will. Yeah, I think they do activate a minor. So I'll come back in a second after I take a look at the board and see what minor they want to activate. Okay, so the Germans have decided they're going to activate Brazil. Brazil could become a problem, so I think the Germans will want to activate it so they can manipulate it to their advantage. We got basically 4 markers here. Let me scoop them up. We got I'll put them up here. We got the -1 German, a 2 US, and a -10 Japan. Good for Japan, right? Alright, let's see what we're going to do. So, the 1 German, not going to do anything. Now we're going to activate the 2 US. And this is why the Germans, trying to help out their Japanese partners, are doing it this way. Because it would actually take 3 points to move it into this hex. Rather than let the US do this, and they could manipulate this so Brazil could be down here and then right on the US marker, and they could align them once they get a treaty in place. So the US marker would take 3 points to get to this hex. They only have 2, so no effect. Now we have -10 for Japan. Japan is basically straight back from Brazil. So we're going to go 3, 6, 9. And the 1 extra just gets blown off. And that takes care of that. That's not as bad as it could be. Okay, so we don't roll into political phase because now we have a +2 to the die. So let's go down to Japan. Japan owes 2, I believe, political options, I think. Let me check real quick. She owes for the DoW on the US, I believe. Let me check that. So Japan owes for the DoW on the US last turn, and she also owes for a minor align with which she aligned Argentina. So first we have to do the DoW for the US. I already put all the markers out. There's no US entry because it's irrelevant at this point. So that's done. You don't get to activate a minor by doing that, so that's done. Now we have had 1 political option played. Previous option played. There's a +2 to the die. The political phase cannot end. So we'll go to the second, and Japan owes for the minor align on Argentina. Now she does get to activate a minor with this. So let's go take a look at what Japan might want to activate. And I think who she's going to activate, she's going to activate Mexico. Right there. So grab the markers. Come on over here. This could be making the US a little nervous. We got a -2 US and we got a 4 Japan. So first we will do, this is not going to make the US not going to make any difference. So we're going to do the -2 for the US. Going to move the marker down to here. Then we got 4 for the Japanese. So it's going to take 3 to get in this hex. And now we're moving towards the major power. So it's going to be -1 per hex. So it's going to take 1 for this hex. And I just moved the wrong marker. Gee whiz. All right. Let's try that again. So the -2 for the US is not going to do anything regardless. So the 4 for the Japanese is going to be 3 to go here and don't quite have enough to go there. So the 1 additional point is blown off. And that's it for the Japanese. We will move on to the U.S., but first we roll to see if the political phase ends. We'll go over to the Indian Ocean. Grab the die. It will take a 1 to end the political phase. Huh. Scared the U.S. with that roll. Alright. Alright, let's see what the U.S. wants to do. Alright, the U.S. is going to gear up. Gear up for the U.S. Okay, they're not a fascist. The current year is 1942, and that is equal to the year specified on the PM track. So I will pay for this. It's 12 money, so it's not cheap. I'll go put all the markers out, and I'll come right back with the U.S. activating a minor. Okay, the U.S. gets to activate a minor, so I think they're going to activate Portugal. That is one of the countries that the U.S. can control. It's right here, Portugal. So they can activate Portugal, and they will. We'll see what happens. We got all kinds of minuses for Japan. -6. We got +2 for the Italians, and we got a +2 for the U.S. So let's see. I have to remember that Portugal has a treaty with the Commonwealth. So it's going to subtract 1, or it's going to add an extra 1 when Portugal's moving away from the Commonwealth. And I do believe, yes, that's how that works. Okay. So first thing we'll do is we'll activate the Italian. Well, like I just said, it costs 2 per hex, but it's going to cost an extra 1 to move away from the Commonwealth because of the treaty that Portugal has with them. So it costs 3, so no effect. Then we'll activate the U.S. That's going to draw Portugal towards the U.S. We'll put them in the same hex as Saudi Arabia. Then we're going to activate the -6 for Japan. Now it's 2 per hex, +1 to cross a boundary. So that's going to be 3, 6. It's going to put Portugal underneath the Commonwealth. Okay, so now we will roll to see if the political phase ends. If not, we will do the second U.S. Where's the die? I was losing the die. There it is. Roll die. A 9 does not end the political phase, so we will continue. The U.S.'s second option is going to be a minor economic agreement, and they're going to sign that. They're going to sign that with Brazil. I was just reading something real quick, make sure they actually satisfy the prerequisites, because the major powers initiative must be less than or equal to the minor's willpower. Well, Brazil's willpower is a 4. The U.S.'s initiative position is 3, so that's what gave me pause for a second. So there's no U.S. entry doesn't matter. There's no minor effects. However, the U.S. will get to activate a minor. So let me put the 1 marker out for the U.S. And we'll come right back and activate a minor. And I think I know who the U.S. is going to activate. Because now that 1 point, by signing a minor economic agreement with Brazil, gave the U.S. 2 points. So they're going to activate Brazil. They're getting serious about getting Brazil as an ally. So the 2 points, there's 2 points. There's 2 points. Okay, U.S. is right here. Brazil is right here. Costs 3 for a hex. It costs 2 for a hex. Costs 1 to cross the boundary. However, the Brazil is moving towards the U.S. within their ideology. So it subtracts 1 from the cost. So it costs 2 to go to this hex. So that's going to move Brazil right there. All right, and that's a wrap for the political phase. I am going to roll initiative and weather and come right back with a look at the reinforcements. Okay, so I rolled initiative. The initiative roll was a 5 for the fascists, a 2 for the Democrats, and a 2 for the communists. However, the fascists have a +2, and the Democrats and communists both have a -1, so the fascists won handily. They decided they were going to go first. They're going to take a chance that the weather would be decent. The Democrats and communists decided amongst themselves that the Democrats would be second and the communists would be last. Communists are hoping to get a bump up on the ideological initiative modification track. Maybe if the turn ends a little early, who knows. Anyways, the weather roll was a 2, which is fine weather everywhere. The impulse marker will move up 1 per impulse. 1 box per impulse. Well, let's go take a look at reinforcements. I decided to do this a little bit differently this turn because the reinforcements are getting, well, they're getting to be quite a bit. So, take a look at, this is what the communists have coming in. Quite a bit of stuff. This is what the Italians have coming in. This is what the Japanese have coming in. This is what the, there's some flipped over ships that got to go in the construction pool. That's what that's meant for. The Commonwealth has coming in. The Free French have a few units. And this is what the Germans have coming in. A whole bunch of flipped over naval units, which means they're all going in the construction pool. Synthetic oil plant. Other than that, not a whole lot of infantry or anything. And I think that is, oh, the Chinese have a few units. And of course the Americans. Again, units going in the construction pool. I believe these are all air units, I think. Yeah, there's a gigantic pile of American air units coming on. So I will get these on the board, and then I will come back after the fascists have moved with any combats they have. Okay, so the Germans took a land, the Italians took a land. The Germans also paid for a single naval move, which will allow them to move all their subs. They paid for that with offensive points. And the Japanese also took a land. So everybody taking land this time. So let's start down here in Africa. And what we got down here is stacks knocked over. There we go. That's down in South Africa. So what we got down here is we have an attack right here. I believe the odds are 3-1. Not very good odds, but it's a 3-1 attack. We have a ground support, which makes it 3-1. We also have 2 ground strikes that are got escorted by 2 fighters, and we have a intercepting Spitfire. So we have an air battle. Let me grab my die. Alright, air battle. So the Spitfire shoots first. It is 5.3 to 6, which is a difference of 0.7, which rounds to 1. So the Spitfire fires first on the +1 column. Ooh, 17 on the +1. DX. Let's see. Defender, player not rolling, destroys own front fighter or bomber. And that is in a yellow box, which means the pilot dies. Own front fighter or front bomber. Actually, I think we'll take out the bomber. As expensive as it is. It's also a 1936 bomber, so it probably won't come back. Now the Italians get to roll. They're on the -1 column. They roll a 14 on the -1. 14 on -1 is defender abort. Defender aborts own front fighter or front bomber. Well, in this case, the defender is the British, so he aborts his bomber. I mean his fighter. So that's the end of that battle. Now we have 2 ground strikes. Let's see, there's 2 units there. So the red die will be the bottom unit. And the 0 and the 9 does a big giant fat 0. So he goes back and lands someplace. And now we have a 3-to-1 attack here. And I will land this guy. Guess he can land in Alexandria. Or where's Alexandria? Right there. He can land there. 3-to-1. We have armor. The armored HQ of Grazani. So that gives him a +1. And we'll take that on the Blitzkrieg column. 3-to-1 +1. And we rolled a 5, which is a 6. The 3-to-1 is a 5, which is a 6, is a no loss for the attacker and an R. So the defender has to retreat. So I will take care of that. I don't know if, I think the attacking units are flipped over. I'm going to have to check into that. I'm pretty sure, yeah, they're flipped over. Okay, so that's going to be it for the mighty Italian offensive down here for this turn. So these guys have to retreat, and Cairo falls. They are now in Suez. But the attacking units are all flipped over. It kind of puts the kibosh to any further offensives in this area. Alright, now let's go over to the Eastern Front. We got a bunch of 5-to-1 attacks. I don't think there are any bombers here. We're not gonna commit that. Okay, I don't think I'm gonna commit that. What's that gonna do? It'll make it a 4-to-1. A 4-to-1. He has no fighters in range. No, I'm not going to commit it. They got to save these for Stalingrad. So we'll let that attack go through. That's a 5-to-1. That's this hex right here. And 5-to-1 on the salt table with a 7 is Asterix 2S. So that unit is dead, and he does not get cadreed. I guess and put the motorized unit there. Alright, there's no blitzing, obviously. We have a 5-to-1 here, +1. And that'll be on the Blitzkrieg table. That guy is in supply. That's a 10. I know what that is. He will be a cadre. What's here? So we can take 1 hex after that. That will go here, and these 2 armored units will go here. And we have a 5-to-1 here. And that's going to be on the assault table. Maybe we can take Rostov. It's kind of messing everything up. A 9. 9 on the assault table is definitely dead. Now, let me show you where we are. We're in Rostov. Right here is 5-to-1 attack. Those 2 units die. And we can occupy the hex. I should have bombarded with that artillery. Oh well. That's what happens sometimes. Nobody's flipped over, and I think that's it for attacks. We have 12 points here, and it's behind the river, not good. Yeah, that's probably it for attacks. So the Germans are actually getting stretched pretty thin on this front. Okay, we have some U-boat action, or potential U-boat action. First we have the Faroes Gap. This U-boat here is a Milchow U-boat. It can be used as a base, which means that the U-boats start a lot closer to the Faroes Gap. Alright, so first we got to roll to see if anybody sees anybody. I rolled a 1 and a 3, so that's going to be something. I don't think it matters which one's flipped over. I'll flip that one over. Alright, 1 and a 3. So my highest box is a 4. That's 7. And 1. That's 6 surprise points. And this will be included. So we're going to have 2, 4, 6, 12, 13. 13 points. And we've got 3, 8, 10, 13, 15, 18, 19, 21, 21 and 5, 26. It's going to be 5 ASW points. 6 subs. 5 ASW. 6 subs. It's going to be, let's see, I have 6 surprise points. I'm going to shift it down 1. So he's going to potentially damage 1 sub. He's going to pick the Milchow. Obviously, that's a 8. That is an 8. And the Germans get lucky and roll a 9. So he is aborted. He's aborted. All right. Now, did I say I had 6, 8, 10, 12, 14. I got 1 more column, 2 more column shows, 14 sub points. That's 26, so that's 5 ships, 6 ships. 26 with 6 ships. That's going to be 2 sunk. So that's a total of 6 convoys sunk. You know what? We'll take the French, 2 of the English, and 3 of the Americans. Now roll for another round. A 9 and a 4 is a big 0. Nothing happens with that. We'll go over to the North Atlantic. We'll flip 1 over there. And we'll roll to see if anything happens there. 3 and a 4 is definitely something going to happen. There's not going to be any surprise points, but the 4 box includes the German subs, so they will be included in the submarine combat. So we got 5. Oh gosh. 5. Okay, we have 23 convoy and tanker points. So it's going to be 5 ASW points. And there are 4 U-boats. There's no surprise points. 4 U-boats. There's going to be 2 damaged, 1 aborted. Oh, I'm sorry. 1 damaged, 2 aborted. So the damage, they'll pick this guy, I guess, for damage. And he is damaged. So he's going to go to the damage pool. And the aborts will be these 2. So a 7. Nope. And an 8. Yep. The 8 is aborted. So he's going to be aborted. So we got a total of 3, 6, 9, 13 points, sub points. And as I say, 23, which is going to be 7 ships, 8 ships, 1 sunk, 1 damaged, 3 aborted. Okay, so lose 3. Now 1 damaged. Let's roll a die for that. That's automatically damaged because they're 10s. So he goes to the damage pool. And 3 aborted. 2 aborted, right? 2 aborted. So, yeah, I can't, they're aborted. Aborted is aborted. So we'll take the Americano, he'll be aborted. And the 3 British will be aborted. Yeah. Alright. That was a lot of fun. I don't know, fight another round maybe? We got, this guy's not aborted. So we have 3 subs. He's aborted. He's going to go back to the Milchow. Okay, so we'll see what happens. 5 and a 3. Nope, no gain. 5 for the fascists means nobody found anybody. So that's over. Okay, we have 1 little engagement in China. The Japanese are trying it again. First is an engagement for a ground striker. So we got a +3, -3. Chinese fighter is really bad. The Chinese roll first on the -3 column. And -3. They roll a 7. 7 is nothing. It's a blank box on the -3 column. Now the Japanese roll. They get an 11 on the +3 column. Defender clears through. So the bomber clears through. And that's a ground strike. And that's good enough for the Japanese. They'll go home. And the Chinese will just have to rebase probably to Kunming. It's likely that Hex is going to fall. So, okay, first we got is the ground strike. There's 3 units there. The red is the top. It's for 3s. Okay, 0, 0. And the bottom unit, 0. Big, giant, fat 0 for the ground strike. And he goes home someplace. Is that a city? Somewhere there's a city around here. Right there. So, and the ground support can go away because it's already baked in. And we got a 3 to 1. 6 to 1 rather, I'm sorry. 6 to 1. It's going to be on the assault table. We'll use HQ benefits. And that's a good roll for Japan. That's an excellent roll. An 8. That's a 9. Star 2S. So the HQ will be flipped over. But all these units, one's going to be shattered. So the cav will be shattered. Comes in as a reinforcement next turn, and the other 2 are dead. And Japan, unfortunately, loses another factory, but I don't think that... In fact, I'm pretty sure that they weren't using that factory to begin with. because they couldn't basically get any resources to it. The only one they've been using, and they haven't only been using this one right here, Kunming, when the Americans send something to them, which they haven't been doing for the last 4 or 5 turns anyways. So that is it for this turn. Let's occupy with this as well. And we'll bring that up there too. Yeah. Alright. And I think that's it for the fascist turn. I will do the Democrats and the Communists, and then probably move the roll for weather and move the fascists again, and be back with any attacks. If any of the Democrats have an attack, or the fascists, or anything like that, I'll come back with that. The Democrats sent out a bunch of ships on convoy escort duty, also trying to do the naval blockade thing in the Bay of Biscay again, and down here at Cape St. Vincent, the British aligned Portugal. That was interesting. And they're just kind of moving troops around in the backfield here, trying to hold on to the The Romanian croaks. He doesn't even get card rate. And he can occupy the hex, but unfortunately you got to flip over. So he's kind of trapped right there. Kind of trapped. Not good. Not. That's the way it is. Alright, so I'm going to be moving back to the fascist impulse. I'll roll weather and move and then come back with any attacks. The weather roll for this upcoming set of impulses was a 9, which is storm in the Arctic, rain in North Temperate and Mediterranean, storm in the North Monsoon, and fair in South Monsoon and South Temperate. There will be a +1 to the weather roll for next set of impulses, and the impulse marker will be moving up 2. That being said, both the Italians and the Germans decided to do a naval. The Japanese doing a combined, because they really can't do too much with the weather the way it is, where they want to anyways, so they're doing a combined. There really won't be much going on over there, so I probably won't show you. But over here, we got sub action, we got fleet action, we got all kinds of action. So let's start with the Italians. Grab the dice. I'm running out of place to roll dice. So we have an Italian fleet here, supported by some Spanish, an American fleet here, and an Italian sub, and some more Spanish ships. Well, that's interesting. That is interesting. So the die roll came out to be a 1 and a 4. So, alright, I'll do some calculating. So surprise points wise, we have the highest box for the Italians is 4, plus the die roll for the Americans is a 4, so that's 8. In the US, the highest box is a 3, plus the die roll. There's a +1 to each of these dice because of the rain, but it doesn't make any difference because the fascist is higher than 1. So they're going to engage the Americans anyways. So it's going to end up being 4 surprise points. Alright, I'm going to figure this out and be back in a second. Okay, we got a pretty big engagement here. We have 41 Italian and Spanish ships for 120 points and 28 US ships for 99 points. With the surprise shifting the U.S. column down 2, the U.S. is going to sink 4 ships. The Italians are going to sink 5, damage 1, and abort 3. So let's go do that. We'll start with the Italians first. It doesn't matter, it's all simultaneous. Alright, they get to pick first. I think they're going to take the Andrea Doria. It's a ship that they might be able to actually sink. So we'll put that one out. Get the dice. I have to roll better than a 5. Rolled a 9. So the Andrea Doria is damaged. I'm going to put that aside for now. Yes, I'll put it up here like that for damage. Now the Germans pick one. They're going to pick the, whatever this one is, España. The España, that's a 5. And we roll a 3, so the España is sunk. So that one is sunk. Alright. Now the British will pick another one. They're going to pick the... They're going to try to get rid of these Spanish ships. Okay, they're a pain in the butt. The España, that's a 6. I rolled a 9. That one is also damaged. And then finally, the Italians will pick, we're going to pick something that's easy to fix, or even just rebuild. We're going to pick this light cruiser, the Bandiniere. That's an 8. Holy cow, rolled a 9. That means that ship is damaged as well. The light cruiser survives and the Spanish battleship gets sunk. Now, the Italians get to Try and sink 5 American battle wagons. Let's go with a South Dakota. That's a 2. The Sept-Oct. So the Commonwealth will roll. I definitely need some more places to roll dice. They roll a 3. So it saves, so it's only damaged. And then the Americans pick one. They're going to pick the Texas. Pick the Texas. That's a 5. Gets sunk. We don't care. Roll the 2. It definitely goes down. Texas is sunk. Well, we do care, but not much to do about it, I guess. That's 2. The Italians are going to pick the Sept-Oct again. It's going to get sunk. Yep. Because 2 damages is a sunk. And then the Americans will pick the Wyoming. And they actually saved the Wyoming. It's just damaged. And then finally, for the 5th one, the Italians will try for the Colorado. She's a 4. Roll the 7. She's damaged. Now there's 1 damage. So this is the American pick now. One of the Americans. We'll try the Mississippi. No, let's not kill all the battleships. We got the Arkansas here. Yeah, we'll go with the Arkansas. This is for a damage. A 5, it is damaged. Now we got 3 aborts. We're just going to pick, these are just going to get aborted. So let's go with the Pensacola is aborted. Put it up here for now just to signify it's aborted. Then we're going to go with the Phoenix. The Phoenix is not aborted. It's half aborted. We'll go to the Phoenix again. That's the last one, and it is aborted. We try for another round. I think so. Oh, nobody found anybody. Nobody found anybody. A 9 and a 10 pretty much ends any activity in that zone. Well, let's go to the Bay of Biscay. And that's a 5 and a 10. That's not going to be anything. Well, actually, the 5, no. Because we add 1 to the die for rain, so it's actually a 6. And we'll try the action up in the Farrell's Gap. Ooh, that is a hit. We've got a 2 and a 6, so let's figure that out. Okay, what we have is a total of 7 surprise points. So with the surprise point modifications, the 7 ASW are going to do 1 damage. And the 19 sub points are going to do 2 sunk, 1 damaged, none aborted. So for the damage sub, I think, try to get rid of this 4 guy right here. He's pretty deadly. Alright, so we got an 8. Nope, he's damaged. A lot of damaged ships. And then we got 2 sunk and 1 damaged. So the Germans will pick 3 convoy points to sink. Then the Commonwealth, they're going to try the cruiser. At least it's got a chance to save. That's an 8. Nope, it's sunk. Probably a mistake. Should have just let the... Alright, and then finally, that's it for that, right? Oh, and 1 damaged. So we got 3 convoy points damaged. We'll let the Americans have some damage. They like damage. Alright. And then lastly, we got a potential sub action in the North Atlantic. Let's roll to see if anything happens. 6 and a 7. Yeah, that's going to be a big nothing. Big giant nothing. Okay, I'll police this up and then I'll go through the Commonwealth, the Democrats and the Communists, and see if anything happens with them. Don't think much is going to happen on the maps, basically by land movement or anything, because it's rain, and that doubles movement costs and shifts combat tables, all that good stuff. Okay, back in a sec. The weather for this set of impulses was, the roll was a 4, which modifies to a 5, which is rain in the Arctic and rain in North Monsoon. Fair weather everywhere else, and the impulse marker moves up 1. Okay, let's start over here in the Pacific. The Japanese took a land impulse, and they got a bunch of attacks. Get my stacks from falling over here. Alright, first off, we have a ground strike. It's a long shot, but give it a go anyways. Alright, ground strike. Oh, that is funny. So the ground strike come up with a 1 anyways. So that's going to flip over MacArthur. And he's got to go land. Right there. And so the odds are 4 to 1, which is reduced to 3 to 1 due to the rain. And we have a +1 for an inverted unit. And this is going to be on the assault table. Is he in supply? Don't think he's in supply. Because he can't trace a sea supply line. There's enemy ships in all the sea zones around him. So he's out of supply. So he's actually, so it's going to be a 6 to 1 attack. Because his 6 points now becomes 3. Because he's a white print unit. So he, out of supply, still defends at a 3. So it's going to be a 6 to 1 on the assault table. Modifies to a 5 to 1. Roll to 7. Roll to 7. And on the assault table, a 7 is star 2S. Which means MacArthur is toast. The Philippines falls. Would have rolled the 3 to 1 anyways. What would have been a 3 to 1 on the assault? Let's just check it out. 3 to 1 on the assault with a 7 is a 1-2. So it would have cost the Japanese a unit, but he still would have been gone. I can almost guarantee he'd probably be rebuilt. Another fighter there. All right. I'll move them guys in there, just like that. Over here, we have a 2 to 1. That ought to be a real fun attack on the assault table. Japan's going all out this turn. 2 to 1 on the assault table. Let's see if we get anything. I rolled another 7. Another 7. 2 to 1. A 7 is 1 loss for the defender. Hong Kong has fallen. That's it for Hong Kong. Over here, we have a 7 to 1. And that also is going to be on the assault table. And it's in the mountains, so 7 to 1 on the assault table. Yep, we'll just roll it. See what happens. Oh gosh, Japan is getting some good luck today. That's a star 2S. He's gone. That's the last city in Burma. Let's see. If I occupy with these guys or this guy, they're all going to flip over. I'm going to occupy with this guy. Anyway, he's going to end up flipping over because the hex costs more than he's worth. And yeah, this guy will go into. No, he won't. We'll go in with the, yeah, we'll leave this guy right here for now. And now, the last final attack. And for Japan, we got a 2-to-1 over here. We're going to use HQ benefits. It's going to give us a +1. Mao's nowhere's around, so 2-to-1 on the assault table, +1. Could be bad. 2-to-1. Rolled not that good. Oops. Roll a 4. On a 2-to-1 is a +1. Is a 5. Is 2 losses for the attacker, 1 loss for the defender. So not that good for Japan to be losing in China. Not that good at all. Plus all your, yeah, okay, that's easy loss. Oh, okay, that's an easy loss for the Chinese. It's a 1-point cav unit. And now 2, he's gonna go. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Oh, shoot. And he's gonna go. Alright, so he's got to flip over. Everything's got to flip over, unfortunately, for Japan. That is going to be, what happened to that unit that was there? Oh, it's right here. The units get flipped over. Basically, it means that the attack is over for this set of turns in this area. And nothing else is going to be able to attack. And it's all rain down here. Okay, let's head over to Europe. We have some attacks over here. Let's start in Russia. We have a couple of attacks. We have a 6-to-1 here, and that will be on the Blitzkrieg table. Six to 1 on the Blitzkrieg table. That's going to be a +1 because I got armor. Oh, jeez. 6-to-1 on the Blitzkrieg table. I rolled a 3, which becomes a 4, which is a star 1B. Star 1B. Just really killing it here. So he's going to go on the this unit will go on the circle to arrive as a reinforcement next turn because it's shattered. And they can occupy, and it's a B, so that's a blitz. So occupy with these, and I think with this one, and these two will go here. Oh no, he'll stay here, and these two will go here. Getting close to the edge of the board there, Mr. Russian. Over here, we got a 10-to-1, which is an automatic. Still in supply, so he will be card rated. And that also is a blitz result. Let's see here. Just like that. I think that's it for attacks. Oh, there's one more. The partisan that's up in the Pripet. There's a 4-to-1 attack on that. Roll the 7 on 4-to-1. I don't know what that is. I'll have to look it up. 7 on 4-to-1. On the assault table, a 7 is across 1S. So the partisan, he is done. He can go back in the partisan cup. And the plane goes back to here. Yeah, okay, right there for now, and this will go there. I'll stay there. Good enough. Okay, that's it for the out attack, and that's it for Russia. We'll come over here to Yugoslavia. We have a 5-1 attack. That's a 7. I think that's the same thing. 7 on the assault table. 5-1 is star 2S. That's a -1. So it's going to be a 6. Cross 2S. So half of them are flipped over, but the partisan is gone. Partisan's gone. Back in the cup. Partisan's nothing but a pain. Half are flipped over. Alright. That's the end of that. Now we got an attack in the Near East. Egypt, rather. Right here. First we have ground strike. There's no enemy fighters, so we got 4s. There's 2 units there. The red will be the top unit. The bottom unit is flipped over. Alright, the top unit is there. Oh, the bottom unit is territorial Egypt. Like that. I forgot what it was. It's 5 points here. We have 9, 19, 20 total. That's a 4-1. +1 for armor, -1 for multinational force. On the Blitzkrieg table, 4-1, even up. These high odds, these low odds attacks, that's what usually kills you. 4-1 on the Blitzkrieg table. Oh. And that's a 4. That's a 5. 5 on the Blitzkrieg table is a cross 1R. So 1 defender dies, 1 can retreat. Alright, so 1 defender dies. I think it's going to be the guy that's flipped over. And 1 can retreat. He can retreat. The territorial is not looking too good. Alright, and they can occupy. And half got to flip over. So Rommel will occupy with the German infantry. The 2 Italian units will flip over. Okay, that's the end of those attacks. Now we got some naval action. Well, technically the naval part comes before land. I'm just working my way down the board. We have a potential fleet battle here. Let's roll some dice. A 5 and a 7. A 5 and a 7 is not going to cut it. It's like no battle there. Let's go to this one. We rolled a 2 and a 6. A 2 and a 6. So there will be a naval battle there. Alright, I got to figure out the numbers, and I'll be back in a second. Okay, what we got here is we're going to have an air-to-sea battle. The Germans decided that it's air-to-sea. They're not going to expend any surprise points on it. Basically because the Commonwealth rolled a 6, their fighter is not included, so there will be no air-to-air combat. The total factors that the Commonwealth has, they have 37 ships with 38 AA. And the Germans have 5 air units with 13 potential points. So we're going to shift them over 2 columns. I'm going to get the lowest 2 out of 5 dice. Could go the lowest 2 out of 6 dice. We'll go the lowest 2 out of 5 dice. Just see what happens. Lowest 2 out of 5 dice. Well, here's 4 dice. And we got a 1, a 7, and a 9. And another 1. So we got 2 1s, so that's 2 points. Okay, we got 2 1s, that's 2 points. Let's see, 2 points, anti-aircraft. Each 10 points destroys 2 or one other bomber. Remaining 5 points destroy or abort one other bomber. Okay, so I'm going to lose 2 air-to-sea factors. So it's going to be 11 air-to-sea factors. We'll shift over 1 column. We got 3 sunk, 2 damaged, and 2 aborted. 3 sunk, 2 damaged, and 2 aborted. Alright, Germans choose first. So I think they're going to choose to sink. You know, I like to get rid of some of these cruisers. They have a lot of cruisers. This one right here, for example. The Liverpool. She's a 6. She's going to be sunk, maybe. Roll a die. Roll the 2. That does indeed sink it. So the Liverpool goes down. The British player picks next. He's going to pick the DoDIII. It's an 8. Roll a die. He rolled a 10. So the DoDIII is just damaged. Just damaged. And for the last one, the Germans are going to pick, let's see, I'm trying to get rid of something with a radium. The Black Prince. That's actually a name of a cruiser that was around in First World War. Might even be the actual cruiser. But very high, 9. Roll a 9. Oh, 3 definitely sinks it. 3 is sunk. When's it? 1939. It must be the new version. Now we got 2 damaged. So the Commonwealth will pick, I'm going to pick this, the Queen Elizabeth, for damage. Knowing it probably will save. We got 1 damaged. So the Queen Elizabeth. And roll for the Queen Elizabeth. We rolled a 9. It does save, so it is aborted. Put it up here for now. So now flip it over for an abort. Alright. And the next damage, we're going to pick the DoDIII. No, we're not going to. No, not going to. We're going to pick the Kent for damage. That's a 7. It's damaged. And 2 aborted. I'll pick the Curlow and the Newfoundland. So the Curlow is an 8. It is aborted on a roll of a 1. The Newfoundland on a roll of a 2 is also aborted. So that's aborted and that's aborted. Both of those are aborted. Alright. Now round 2. The British just want to get a hold of the the British are aborting. Yep, they're going to abort. Hopefully it will abort back to England. And flip over. And that's the end of that. And it leaves the Germans in possession of the Bay of Biscay, what it's worth. Alright, we got a potential sub-action in the Charles Gap. Let's roll to see if anything happens. 6 and a 3, and the subs can ignore that, because the 3 would be the Sunderland. And he would be able to engage, but the subs don't have to. And the last chance at the North Atlantic, a 9 and a 6 is no go. So that's it for the fascist impulse. We don't roll to see if the turn ends. I will come back if the Democrats or the Communists do anything exciting. Other than that, I'll probably be back with the next weather roll. Here, back to the fascist impulse. The weather roll was an 8, which is rain in the Arctic, rain in North Temperate, and rain in North Monsoon, fair everywhere else. There's a +1 to the next weather roll, and the impulse marker moves up 2. That being said, Germany decided to go with an air action. Even though the strategic factor is a half, they're going to go for it anyways. The Italians went for a combined. They're going to try another naval engagement in Cape St. Vincent. And that's the sub-action in the Faroes Gap is a possibility as well. The Japanese going for a combined action. They launched an attack on Lai, New Guinea. We'll see how that goes. And I think that's it. So let's get started. All right, so on London, we have 44 anti-aircraft factors because there's an 11-1 AA unit there. It fires 4 times, so that's 44 points. It's 44 AA is going to be against 7 aircraft. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 aircraft. It's going to be the highest one out of 5 dice. The highest one out of 5 dice. Well, I got a 10, so can't get any higher than that with the first roll. So that's going to be 1 aircraft shot down. Sure, one other bomber. Yep, 1 aircraft shot down. That is the German player's choice. I don't think he wants to shoot down the Focke-Wulf. That would be a bad decision. So I guess the DoDIII, that's a 1937 plane. I believe the pilot is also dead to anti-aircraft fire. I don't think they survive. Okay, so what do we got? We got 4, 8, 12, 16, 17, which is 9 bombing points. 9 bombing points. So we're going to roll a die. There's no air combat, so there's going to be a +1 to the die. Alright, let me find my die. Alright, here we go. Roll a die. Go! Alright. That's a good result. 10. 9 bombing factors with a roll of 10 becomes an 11. There's 3 asterisks. Number of printed factory, rail or oil, and or facilities destroyed. Okay, I gotta look up the order. There's an order to this. I gotta look up the order. I wanted to make a quick note before we move on a little bit that I forgot to record the attack in Portugal that ended the Portuguese. That I think it was 3-1 and it rolled a 7, so it's a 1-2 loss. And also over here, the Japanese had an attack on Lai. Where are you? Right there. They rolled, I can't remember what they rolled, but the die roll came out being a 1-1. So they lost a SNLF division. And the Russians tried to piece together more of a line in their impulse. Try to get something going. The line doesn't look too bad, actually. The Germans are kind of stretched really far at this point. And the Italians, they had that attack down here earlier. The Italians are kind of pretty much exhausted at this point. And the Commonwealth forces are hoping for reinforcements very soon. And Not much going on in the Atlantic. So that brought us around to the fascist impulse, roll for weather. The weather came out at 10, which is snow in the Arctic, storm in North Temperate, rain in the Mediterranean, storm in North Monsoon, rain in South Monsoon, rain in South Temperate. So the fascists are trying, they're going to take combined options. And I don't think they're just basically going to move a little bit, I think. Because storm in the North Temperate is really going to put the kibosh on any kind of activity. And the snow, they're not really set up to attack in the Arctic right now, so the snow is not going to make them happy either. So they're not going to be doing too much in the Russian front. The Mediterranean front, like I said, a lot of the Italian units are exhausted, so they're not going to do anything there really. So we're going to have a couple potential naval engagements over here, and that's probably going to be about it. So let's see. Let's go with Cape St. Vincent. Well, I rolled a 9 and a 6, so that's going to be a big no. Bay of Biscay, I rolled an 8 and a 6. That's going to be another big no. And the Faros Gap, I rolled an 8 and a 9, so that's going to be yet another big no. Japan, she's kind of not going to be doing too much either. Maybe transporting a few. Oh yeah, they're not even going to be able to attack that partisan because the odds are too bad. Actually, I can just overrun it. So Japan gets an overrun on a 0 strength point partisan. That's her big achievement for this turn. And I'll continue doing the impulses, and if anything happens, I'll be right back. Okay, so the weather went completely bad. The fascists didn't do anything except tried to attempt some naval engagements, which they failed at. Excuse me. So the weather rule was really bad, and the result was that the turn ended on the 22nd impulse, and it was the Democrats who ended the turn, so the communists got a bump up in the ideological initiative from -1 to 0. And then there was no partisan activity. The only partisan activity that could have taken place, the die rolls wasn't good enough for that. So we went right to production. And what we have for production is we have the Germans producing 50, Lend-Leased 5 to Italy, so that's 45. Started with 32 and spent 30. The Japanese produced 28, started with 21, spent 20. The Italians produced 15, got 5 from Lend-Lease, that's 20. Started with 19 and spent 15. The USSR produced 25, got 3 from Cadre, 5 Lend-Lease from the US, 3 Lend-Lease from the Commonwealth for a total of 36. Started with 31, spent 30. The Commonwealth really got hammered. They sent 3 Lend-Lease to the Soviets, produced 19, started with 3, and spent 15, which includes a factory repair. The U.S. Produced 60, sent 8 out in Lend-Lease, started with 28, spent 41. The Chinese produced 3, got 1 from Cadre, for a total of 4, started with 5 and spent 5. The Free French produced 1 and started with 9 and spent nothing. So I will get these on the production wheel, and hopefully I can get this turn uploaded soon. And thanks for watching. Like and subscribe. I appreciate it a lot. And see you next time.